I want to welcome you here today. This is the first of the webinar series at CCS, and I'm very honored and thankful that vocational service was chosen to be the first one. So thank you guys for being here and supporting our webinar series today. The webinar series is called Vocational Services 360, and hopefully here you'll learn more about our services in vocational. I have a lot of things to cover, so I'm going to go ahead and jump right in. What we're going to look at today is some introductions to a few of our staff. We have a lot of staff. These are not the only staff involved in vocational services, but hopefully people who can provide you with resources. And then also an overview, quick overview of vocational services, our many programs in vocational services, and then take a look at any key opportunities and future visions that we see and how you guys can support us internally. I'm going to go ahead and open up for discussion and questions and see, maybe quiz you on what you learned today. Okay, so my name is Jessica Winchester, and I am the program administrator for vocational services. And I also have two individuals who take referrals and information and questions regularly. The first is Lauren James, and she's our vocational services administrative coordinator. She's also a certified work incentive counselor, so she's able to work with people on their Social Security benefits. And then we also have our vocational services program manager. She's been around for almost 30 years, and she's very knowledgeable in our services that we provide, and she's a great resource. She oversees many of the programs we're about to learn about. I just want to make sure if anybody has their mic on to go ahead and check that right now. Even if you're using captions or the interpreter, it would be good to mute your mic because there's a little bit of feedback or echoing happening right now. I appreciate it. All right. So first, I want to just ask the question, spend maybe 1 minute. What do you know about vocational services? What are some facts or information that you know? What do we provide? Or, maybe some cool, interesting facts that you know about us. If you could type that in the chat, let's get our brains going this morning. I don't know if everybody's had their coffee. I have a lot, so I'm there. I'm already there. Laura, would you be able, because I can't see the screen, I can't toggle back right now. Would you be able to read anything that comes up in the chat? Don't be shy. No, there's no wrong answers. What do you know about vocational? Anything popping up?
I know they help with unemployment, finding jobs, and job training.
Yes. Yeah. Thank you. Thank you. Yes, definitely. Anybody else? I think everybody's shy this morning, I think. Well, we help with vocational, anything employment related, really. We are, and we're going to talk a little bit more about One Stop, but we're kind of like the one-stop shop for vocational service employment services for people. And hopefully at the end of this program, you'll be able to kind of see all the different things we do. And I'm gonna ask you another question at the end, see if you've been paying attention. All right, let's go to the next slide here. I want to talk about first the job placement program. And this program really encompasses a lot of service. This is the biggest aspect of what we provide at vocational services. One thing I want to just really clarify right away is that we believe at vocational services that real work equals real pay. That's our motto now. We're moving forward with that motto. In the past, people with disabilities were paid less than prevailing or minimum wage for the same work that people without disabilities had. or word performing. And so we're not doing that. We're moving forward. And what we're doing is saying that it's real work, so therefore it equals real pay. And real work is what we call competitive integrated employment, or CEI. That's a term that the Department of Labor and a lot of organizations around the nation use. That means it's competitive. Anybody, like people in the community, myself included, and people with disabilities, are competing for the same job. Integrated meaning that I'm not just only working with people with disabilities, I'm integrated, I'm a part of my community. And that's a really important factor when it comes to work and your well-being. How is our service provided? Well, we make sure that the individuals we're working with are actively seeking job opportunities to secure a position that actually aligns with their skills, their qualifications, and their career goals. It's all about them. It's not my job, it's their job. So we oftentimes work one-to-one with them. Maybe we provide group training or we provide on-the-job training. But our planning is very person-centered, personalized. Our employment plans are personalized. We follow national best practices that outline what we need to provide in that person-centered planning. If you've heard of CARF, that's one of the accrediting agencies that we partner with and we get accredited by. We provide resume building, applications, application help, interview prep. We also network with employers, help people get jobs, make those connections. We are also, because everything is so online now, providing online job portal help because, you got the Indeed or the Monster Jobs. We got to get in there and help them navigate that. We also take them to job fairs or help them participate in job fairs and other recruitment events. A very important factor of what we do is we provide education to employers because there are a lot of myths around hiring people with disabilities. Some people believe that there's extra insurances involved, that there's more risks for hiring people with disabilities, which is just simply not true. And that's a true story. I mean, I actually provide training for employers and mention these things specifically because it is a question that comes up so much. We also help support them in the persistence of applying for jobs because we know that the more you apply for jobs, the more you're going to get an interview, the more likely you are going to get a job. And that really is a huge part of it. Another big part of this piece that we've filled recently in the last year is we provided benefits counseling. We're a certified benefits counselor. So this individual has been trained, that's Lauren that we mentioned before, has been trained and certified to be able to take a look at Social Security and what that program's all about and take away the fears by working one-on-one with individuals and what their benefits are to make sure they understand how it impacts their benefits. And usually it does not impact their benefits. That fear goes away, and now they know that they can apply for this position or know how much they can apply for or know how many hours they can work. Not only that, there are other programs such as ABLE accounts that money can be put in that don't affect their benefits and Social Security. So there are tools and resources that people don't know about, and Lauren can help work with individuals on those. Our
Jessica, we have
staffing,
one question
oh, sure.
from Sherry. Are these services available in Sierra Vista and Douglas?
Well, we are working on expanding services, and technically, yes, those services are available all throughout the state, but our services particularly would depend on staffing. And we're going to talk a little bit more about that at the end, so hopefully I'll be able to answer that question a little bit more in depth at the end. There are other services that lead up to placement. Those services are services like trial work experiences, where people are actually put into a work experience, a real job, and we observe and look at the skills that they have and report back to maybe the referral agency to see how they do. It's almost like an assessment. And then there's a similar service called work adjustment training, which we provide by putting people in real jobs And we're helping them work on those skills that they need to work on, maybe to gain experience. We also provide career exploration and supported education. And career exploration really is what it sounds like. We help them take a look at different options and help them focus on a career goal that they want to obtain by really understanding what that career looks like. And supported education is us supporting them in any kind of certificate that would really help them towards employment opportunities. We currently partner and provide real work with agencies within our own organization right now. We have individuals who do custodial work at COAB and Barrio. We also work with other agencies in the community like Marist, where we contract to provide the work, and we provide that real work for an individual who does a full-time job at the Marist in custodial work. We're also partner with COPD, and we're going to touch a lot on this, but COPD has been a big part of vocational services history. You know, our vocational services program started in COPD in our deaf service. And we still today specialize and partner with COPD, providing those same services. In fact, over 75% of our clients are deaf or hard of hearing. Our entrance criteria to be able to come here and use the services, I just want to cover that because I think we can collaborate more as an organization at CCS, and having to understand how can a person come into this service and receive services? Well, you have to follow the U.S. work requirements, just like anybody who is looking to go to work. You need to be referred by an agency that pays for your services, like the Division of Developmental Disabilities, or maybe vocational rehabilitation, or some other funding that is willing to pay for the services. We also, as an organization, as vocational services, need to accept those goals, help develop those goals, but also be accepting that, yeah, I'm going to help work towards that goal, and accept any risks that come along, because sometimes people do have risks, and we need to be able to accept those. Our successes in this program look like lots of job offers, lots of people working, satisfaction, and their milestones that they hit. So, getting a job is just the first milestone. Then maybe a week, 30 days, 60 days, 90 days, 6 months, a year, that we're really tracking those milestones. And anytime somebody gets career advancement or promotion is just a really great success indicator that this is working. I'm going to jump right into supported employment because it is a big part of job placements. So when somebody is on the job, many times people need a personalized approach that helps somebody stay on the job. We focus one-to-one support. Oftentimes it's one-to-one. It can be group supported, but oftentimes it is one-to-one support. And we want to make sure that supported employment is an approach that really emphasizes the abilities and the aspirations of the person with a disability. We want to make sure that the service recognizes that everybody with an ability has the right to have meaningful work and that community inclusion. So we don't want this to take away from that. We also know that this helps us promote long-term success for individuals, and we wanted to start with the least restrictive option to be able to help support them, because that promotes their independence. Again, this is their job. This is not my job. This is not the job coach's job. This is their job. And we want it to be about them, and we want them to be successful. We partner with businesses again, and making sure they understand the role of that job coach or ongoing support. We also want to work towards that competitive integrated focus, competitive integrated employment. It's tailored to each individual, again, that person-centered planning. Many times the job coach, once they're on site, they'll start looking at things like matching tasks, trying to work with the employer on flexibility to make it more successful, or maybe that customization. And anytime, somebody gets a job and maybe they don't have that job support at first, but they get a new job task or their job changes in a certain way, or maybe the environment, like a new supervisor comes in, it's just hard for them. We can step in then at that point and provide that supported employment focus and work with them on those. It can be on the site, it can be on break time, it can be after work is over and we work through different problems have come up. It's really a part, like I said, centralized and a part of their plan. So whatever their preferences are. Oh, I'm sorry, that was the individuals who work with folks are the employment specialists and the job coaches. They're all trained in techniques that are best practices. We have an ACRE certification, which is a national certification in job placement, supported employment, and customized employment. There are very few in the state of Arizona, but our staff are certified in those services. Now, I want to give you a little education on two big programs that affect vocational services. So I apologize if this sounds a little bit boring, but it's not boring to us. It affects us greatly. And they're two government agencies. The first is Ability One. And Ability One is a federal program in the United States that aims to create employment opportunities for individuals with significant disabilities. The program is administered by the U.S. Ability One Commission, an independent federal agency. It focuses on providing products and services through procurement of goods and services by the federal government. The areas that they focus on are employment opportunities. They make sure they want all of the work to go to people with significant disabilities or veterans. They also are the ones that procure those products and services to be able to distribute out. They have a lot of different industries. So, for instance, we have custodial work, we do mail clerk work, we provide services, but there are many people who provide products. Like, did you know that all the staplers on government desks are actually assembled and created by people with disabilities? So they have any work that comes up gets first given to agencies who provide services for people with disabilities and work for people with disabilities. And again, Ability One is government support. It's the government saying we support people with disabilities. We support the work that needs to be given, and we're gonna give that to people who have disabilities first.
Right. That's what they're trying to do. Now, in conclusion, it means exactly.
Again, if you have your microphone on, just wanted to make sure there's some echoing and some feedback happening. So just be sure to check your microphone if you don't mind. Okay, so the next is Source America. And Source America is another agency. It's actually a nonprofit agency that partners with the network of nonprofit agencies across the country to create employment opportunities for people with disabilities. It operates as the Ability One central nonprofit agency and is the key player in Ability One programming. So what they do is they actually have a nonprofit network. Okay, they collaborate with more than 700 nonprofit agencies known as community rehabilitation partners, and that's us. That's what CCS is. We are a community rehabilitation partner, and we employ and provide employment opportunities for people with disabilities. So Source America is kind of like our broker. They are the ones who help us take those contracts and get them. When they come up, they're the ones who are notified and they put it out for bid for agencies like ourselves. And they help us not just with getting them, but supporting and the quality standards that come with these big, large contracts from the government. They also provide advocacy and support. And they make sure that we have the right tools and resources to be able to provide these services. And that oftentimes is financial assistance, which is a really great resource for us. And we have used them quite frequently. So why do I talk about this? Why is it important to know about these things? Well, the Ability One federal program dedication is creating employment opportunities for individuals with disabilities, and Source America then acts as the vital partner implementing those programs to nonprofits. And we are the nonprofit. It's important because this is how we are able to provide multiple employment opportunities at our sites through Source America and our Ability One contracts. The first contract through Ability One I want to talk about is a really cool program. It's one of my favorite programs, and as you see these things come up, if ever you want a tour or you want more information, please reach out to us. We'd be happy to escort you on site and see the program at work, because they are really cool programs, and they've been around for a long time. The Davis-Monthan Air Force Base our contract has been there since 1999. And that's a huge and long contract. We've also had staff who've been there since 1999 and are still working there, including client staff who are employed there. We do two things there. The first is the official mail center, which is where we receive mail from squadrons to ship out to different bases. And we also receive incoming mail and packages and deliver them on a delivery run. And then we also do their postal service center services. We receive mail, we sort them all out, and we deliver them to the dorms. We, between these two, have last year received and sorted 33,000 packages. We do support individuals on site. So we've got our mail clerks, and then we have our job coaches and our project manager who are on site. The project manager oversees the quality of the services and the job coaches, and the job coaches are there working alongside the individuals, the mail clerks, and making sure that things are running smoothly. But again, it's not their job. It's the individuals who are working there with disabilities. It's their job. So we're there to support them and offer that group supported employment. We partner closely with Davis-Monthan Air Force Base, and we have a business contact right on site with us. So we're constantly in talking with them, providing services. And one of the best things I can say about our quality of service there is that over the 30 years, almost 30 years of providing services, we have about 100% quality rate with them. That means very, very little errors. I mean, I think 2 errors I've looked back on for the last 30 years. We've had 2 errors. And that's a really high standard that we follow. In order to be working on the site, first of all, there has to be an opening, but you have to be a US citizen. You have to have a proof of disability, and you have to be able to get the very hard secret clearance. And you have to be able to know your neighbor from 10 years ago, and they track them down to ask you about who you are. So just know it is a secret clearance, because we get a lot of high security mail coming through. The next contract I want to talk about is our James Walsh Courthouse. And this is a contract we have, again, through Ability One, but we've had this contract for, I believe, 40 years or more. And it is a custodial services contract. We clean the bankruptcy courthouse downtown. So not the nice, new, fancy one, the old one. It's very historic. And so there are a lot of things we have to do to make sure to maintain its history. Again, this is a really cool site to see if you ever want to tour. There are a lot of historical features about it, including the bathrooms. The bathrooms are quite old, but in a cool way. And we maintain all of those services. We do the trash, we do the floors, we do the pest removal. I mean, recently we had to figure out how to get a squirrel out of the basement. I mean, it's never a dull moment at the courthouse. And we support them through a group supported employment environment. Individuals are hired just like our other programs at CCS, but we provide them with a job coach, a lead support there on site. They're very independent individuals who work there, and it's their job. Again, it's not our job, but we're there to help support just like a supervisor would do, and provide a little added supports if any reminders need to come up. We partner directly with GSA, and they have a high standard of services for their quality. And the tenants there are the judges, the judges and the security officers. And they also have some high standards. So we're constantly working on those floors and have received multiple compliments over the years. Again, very little complaints in our services. So it's again a really really amazing opportunity to see. If you ever want to take a tour, please reach out to us. The criteria to work here for clients would be, again, U.S. citizen and a proof of disability. It's not a secret clearance, but you do still have to go through a background clearance process through GSA. Now I'm going to jump focus. We're going to move away from Ability One contracts and jump into our Pima County One-Stop Job Center. We actually have a master agreement with Pima County to provide services and have 2 full-time staff at the One-Stop Job Center on Rio Nuevo. That's just off of Congress there. They have caseloads of individuals that they help with job assistance. And one thing I really wanted to first bring up is that they have a mission that I really feel very passionate about that matches something that we work towards at CCS, especially in vocational services, is that they serve with heart and urgency. That just really resonates with me. And I wanted just to bring that up because I do feel that we serve with heart and urgency. So this contract really aligns well with what we do. And we provide there a job assistance, and there's so many resources there. I think a lot of people forget about the One Stop, that you could just literally walk in and receive job services right then without qualifying for anything. You have the opportunity to use their tools and resources right on site. No questions asked. The other thing that they provide is that if you do need some ongoing support or a little more intensive supports, they do have grants that allow us to take somebody into a caseload. And we provide, for instance, employment resources like labor market information, job banks, online and virtual job matching, leads, workshops, resume assistance, career counseling. They also provide, and this would be with a little extra grant support, individualized career planning, pre-vocational adult education, job search and placement, as well as more than 300 occupational training programs that are available to individuals. So paying for their education and certification to be able to get into technical programs, or get a degree to be able to get into another job or advancing their job opportunities. They have on-the-job training, they have apprenticeships, and so much more. So it's a really awesome opportunity to be able to have 2 people there to be able to help us focus and refer people over, because we have a lot of folks that we work with that can benefit. But I think in general, talking about this program and helping to collaborate with all our agencies at CCS to know that this is an option for folks is a really cool resource. And please reach out to us if you have any questions about this service, as it is a really important one. There's not a lot of eligibility requirements except you need a job. If you need a job, then you need a job. Let's just send them there and see what they can help you with. Another part of our Pima County contracts is a really awesome program. And every summer we provide summer youth employment services. And summer youth employment services helps individuals that are 14 to 21 years old, still in school, as an intern, or not actually an internship, but apprenticeship almost, employment for the summer. And they also participate in a paid training with CCS or CCS and COPD partner together to provide the service. And we help students learn real work. And guess what? They get really paid. They get paid a good wage. We provide the pay, and the employer in the community, local businesses partner with us to provide the work. So businesses get the opportunity to have extra help without them paying for that service. We're the ones paying for them. So it's a really cool partnership with the community. It's a great service for our individuals who are looking at growing their employment skills, so they have those skills when they get out of high school. Eligibility really is like 14 to 21. There is an application, and the application process is about to start here now. So be on the lookout if you know any students interested. Their schools usually get that, and also we will be sharing that information as much as possible with our agencies here at CCS so that anybody can come in and participate. Usually we have a limited amount of people who can join our program. There are 15 individuals that we allow in our program. That's how much we can we can staff at this time. But it is really cool program, and we're also looking for people to come in and speak at our workshops. It's all paid time for the clients or for the students. Just I know I mentioned that before. Even the workshops are paid, and they provide job coaching too on site. So if you are an employer who wants to participate, please reach out to us. If you have students who want to participate, please reach out to us. It's a great opportunity to learn those skills.
Jessica, I have a question from Zulma. If they are
Yes.
not in school but are 18 years old, can they still attend?
I think there are some rules around that, but I do believe that if they're like just graduating out of high school, um, there still might be a flexibility because they just moved out of high school and they're not going to go into it in the future. But I would say check with us, reach out to us, and we'll help discerning that information and making sure you have that. I think the application does say who qualifies, and there are some perimeters around that. But they might be able to.
Also, we have a question, where does CCS get the funding to pay for the summer youth employment?
So that's through our contract with Pima County. Pima County, we get reimbursed all the expenses. And so we have our overall budget that we have for this contract, but it includes 15 individuals for about 120 to 180 hours of work per summer for each individual. And that cost is actually included in our contract. So we pay the individuals and get reimbursed by Pima County. And I'll save any more questions, but please write them down if you can. And at the end of this, I'll be happy to add. This is a really great program. Again, we've had this for many years in collaboration with COPD. I want to move into the next program, and the next program is our Inspirability Day program. And this is actually a non-work program, but it is something that falls under employment services or vocational services, sorry. And it is actually what we call day treatment for adults, or DTA. So you might hear the DTA language in Arizona specifically. It is a group of individuals that participate together. And even though it's not work, we are very person-centered. We're all working towards goals. We partner with local businesses, different community providers. We go out and we do a lot of recreational activities. We want to also partner with like the Division of Developmental Disabilities. Individuals who participate in this program have to be a part of that program, as well as have the All-Tex long-term funding. And we do also participate with internal CCS agencies like CLP and COPD, and to be able to provide services or referrals coming in. Our DTA is, again, it's a non-work program. It's a location over at the Arizona School for the Deaf and Blind. We rent a location over there, a large area. We have vehicles, and we are very community-based. So we want to get out in the community and provide what we call a safe, therapeutic, educational, and enjoyable environment for individuals who are looking for introduction to the world of work. So our focus now is that we want people to get into the community, to explore and see work options, and if it's right for them, help them in pursuing those work options. But it's all about volunteering, exploring, and learning about different things, as well as recreational activities like art. We also do some horticulture, We have people that come in and talk to us or do classes or go attend classes, maybe yoga, healthy living, those types of activities for our folks. We provide 100% staff supervision in this program. Not only do we have this program available, but it actually started as a program for individuals who had developmental disabilities, but were also deaf or deaf blind. And so we still have that specialization in this program today. And I believe we are the only day program in at least Southern Arizona, if not all of Arizona, that specifically focuses on individuals who are deaf or deaf blind and also have a developmental disability and have that need for this day program. It's a really cool specialization. We have a commitment, again, to transitioning to work in this program, and our staff have been becoming trained in the transition to employment and that customize or ACRE certification, so that way we can provide it as a group, what we call discovery process, which we'll talk about in a minute. But it really helps us to be able to make sure that everybody in the program understands that there are choices. There's day programs, there's work. Many people don't get to hear about that choice or not informed that there's the opportunity to do work, and are often the decision for a day program is often made for them. So we feel it's really important to have informed choice, and that is a big requirement in coming into the Inspirability Day program. Our staff on site are called direct service providers, and we have 3 individuals who are direct service providers, and then we have a program coordinator who is on site helping provide and maintain activities, as well as doing the person-centered planning and making sure that everybody's goals and needs are met. The next thing I want to touch on is a program, but it's actually a type of service or job placement. It's been around for a long time, but it's an up and coming service that we want to touch on because it's so important. It's a non-traditional way of looking at job placement. So somebody has a significant disability where they want to work, but we know it's going to be really hard to get this job, but we want to support that they want to work, so we're going to help them get there. What we do is we discover with them. We provide a service that we do spend like 40 hours of just getting to know them in their environment, in other environments, taking them out into the community and really understanding what makes them who they are and what works for them. We're not going to sit there and say what they cannot do, or I think I'm just going to put them here. It's more about discovering who they are rather than job search. And then we're going to start working with employers and doing some informational interviewing. It's non-intrusive. Sometimes you go to an employer and they're like, I'm not hiring. They don't want to talk to you. But informational interviewing is non-intrusive. So we're just coming at it like saying, hey, I have somebody here who wants to learn more about what you do. They're really interested in working in this field. Do you want to talk to us sometime about what positions are available, or can you give us a tour? And during that time, the employment specialist, if they get a tour, they're talking, is going to start making connections like, hey, I see you have a lot of trash around. Who takes your trash? And starting to look at those little bottlenecks where maybe that person they're supporting could come in and do a part of that job. And then the provider could do more service in another area instead of worrying about the trash. So it's almost like a win-win situation where the business needs it and the client needs it, and they both are going to be strengthened because of that partnership. We don't want it to be an opportunity where the employer sees it as an area where they might have to ask for help over and over and over again, because that's not a good place for that individual. If you want to talk more about customized employment sometime, I'd love to. It's one of my favorite topics. And again, a lot of our staff are all certified in customized employment, so that way we can jump into it when we need to and be able to provide significant, meaningful employment for people with significant disabilities. Our strengths, we have a lot of them. So this is not even the biggest list. You know, we have a huge list of strengths. But I wanted to just bring up first the community and our identity in the community. You know, vocational services, as I mentioned before, has always been a part of COPD and deaf services, and additionally VCD in Phoenix. And recently, we have become our own agency as vocational services because there is opportunity to diversify and expand our services and collaborate with more agencies within CCS and the community. But we are very thankful and grateful, and we still specialize in deaf services. And I want to just bring that up because it is a strength. You know, for over 4 decades, we are the ones in the community, COPD and VCD in the community. We're the ones providing vocational services to the deaf and hard of hearing, and nobody else was doing that. And so we want to continue that. And we see that as a value to our vocational services. And going forward, that's the way it's going to be, looking to expand those services as well. I know our partnership with them has been great. And so we're also looking to now collaborate with more agencies at CCS. And if you have ways that you think we can partner, please let us know, because I think that is just really important as we move forward as vocational services as its own agency. We also have, like I mentioned, certification and accreditation and quality and longevity in our staff. We do not have much turnover in vocational services. We have people here 5, 10, 15, 20, 25 years, almost 30 years. Everybody who has been a part of this has been a valued contributor and seen all the changes and has bought in and really embraced our clients and the quality that they want to provide to see our clients achieve success. So very, very grateful and just very honored that vocational services has such dedicated staff and that we have these nice accreditations to go along with them. I also want to mention that we have recently been recognized by the National Expansion of Employment Opportunities Network, which is called NEON. And it's a agency or a program that's actually through the Department of Labor. We've been with them for 3 years, where we get subject matter experts that come in and work with us. So as we become our own agency, we've been able to develop and strategize with NEON's help in providing what we want to move towards, you know, our efforts. What does that look like? What is our vision? And we've done so well that they've actually, this last year, we've spoke at a national conference on our progress, because they've recognized that we are moving towards, you know, real work equals real pay, good quality services. And we have a great program running here at CCS. Source America has also recognized us nationally for different achievements, and has come and provided us with specific training. We also have, again, just to bring up the specialization of vocational services for the deaf. I believe we are one of the only ones in Arizona to do so, and that's through our partnership with COPD and the deaf services here. If you look at nationally how many providers do this, I think it would be maybe less than a handful. So it is a really, really cool opportunity to recognize that partnership with deaf services. I'm going to move into how, you know, our opportunities and kind of how you can help us in the future as CCS agencies, as community partners. You know, we want to know if you have employment opportunities or different work training opportunities within your organization, your agency, and your community that you know about. We want to know your network, because that's how we get people placed, and that's how we have successes with employment services. We also want to know if there are other funding opportunities that you're seeing. You're like, oh, I just, you know, this was a part of that opportunity I just saw, and it had employment built in, and maybe there's a way we can partner. We want to get more referrals in the future. We want to be able to expand this communication that CCS has vocational services. We want people to talk about it, and so we would really appreciate your help there in that vision. And additionally, we have the opportunity to expand our services for vocational services into our behavioral health contracts. That is something we're moving towards. And so if you serve individuals who are who have behavioral health services, we want to make sure that you know that's an opportunity and a vision for us in the future, because our vision is to really continue and create and expand fiscally responsible and quality driven vocational services for existing and new clients in Southern Arizona and beyond. Okay. So when someone mentioned, do you have services down in Douglas and Nogales? We want that. We want that. Up in Phoenix, we want that. We want to be able to provide good services, but we want to make sure that we have a really great model and that we can move that model into the next location, into the next demographic. Okay. So we're really working hard at creating that good quality model first. How can you support? I love this picture. This is a picture of one of our clients who went to a grassroots event in Washington, D.C. and spoke with our senators on her job. She works at the base and how important that job is to her. She received training from Source America on how to speak with your senator and your representatives. And this is her. She actually got up and spoke in front of everybody about herself and her importance. And we had some staff that went along with her that got to experience that cool opportunity. Just wanted to explain that picture. And policy, just to identify things that people can help us with, is that I mentioned before in the very beginning that people were paid less than minimum wage in the beginning. We have, since I've come on board, let go of that concept, let go of that certification, which was called 14C. It allowed us to pay less than minimum wage and move towards that real work, real pay. And guess what? Now, we did it 3 years ago, but the whole nation now is starting to move away from that. So we were on board from the beginning and we were ahead of the game. And that's something that we want to continue to work towards. We also want to help, any kind of help with improving our state service rates. You know, Arizona has, as you guys probably know, very low rates in many different services, and vocational is one of those areas. So we want to make sure that we advocate, you know, at all possible, anytime we're available to be able to advocate for better rates, we should be doing that for vocational services and for all our services at CCS. If you have donations, Inspirability is always looking for donations for art supplies, you know, any kind of activities. If you have the ability to help us get into, for instance, a membership at the zoo or a membership at the Desert Museum or anything like that, that's always helpful for us to get out in the community. If you have work training areas, like if you have an employment opportunity where we can get some work training, we're always looking for that too. It doesn't have to be money. It can be opportunities for us as well. And collaboration. Again, collaborating and providing network and networking on employment opportunities really helps us get to the next level. And so that's why I think today is just so important to be able to come together and learn a little bit about vocational services and in the future other agencies, because I think it's really going to help us click and be able to see our potential as an agency in that collaboration, much like we do with CCS's deaf services already, or with CLP. And we're trying to make those connections more and more to help really centralize those services. All right, so I know it was a long session, and but I want to know now, what do you guys know about vocational services? What was your takeaway? We can open that up for discussion, or you want to type it in the chat, that's fine. Don't be shy.
I do have a question here that I'd like to ask when you were on the DTA slides.
Yes.
This one's from Anne. She
Okay.
said, how many days a week is this when you were reviewing the DTA slide?
Sure, great question. Yeah, our services are Monday through Friday for the DTA, and it is really 8 to 4. So
She also asked the staff ratio.
Ratios are 1 to 4. So we try to keep it about 1 to 4. It can go up to 1 to 4.5 if we have an extra person on certain days.
And Random asked, how many clients can you accommodate at DTA? Is it
In the
only for
DTA.
deaf and blind community?
It is not. So the individuals that we provide services to have to have a developmental disability and be with the Division of Developmental Disabilities for the DTA service. But we recognize and specialize in the deaf and deafblind as well. So you don't have to be deaf or deafblind. We have individuals who are not there as well. We would have a wait list after, I think we have about 10 people in there right now. And that's our limit, but we do take a wait list because we recognize if the service is needed, that, if we had maybe 3 or 4 more individuals interested, we would open up those positions in our DTA and hire another staff for that if we had, like I said, that wait list. So it's always good to still send that referral if you have somebody, because then we can kind of track the amount of interest. Any other questions or comments about vocational services? Oh. Well, if there are no other questions, and again, you can reach out to myself or any of our staff with your questions, or if you have referrals or you have something really cool you want to share with us, or you want a tour, you want to see more about vocational services, please don't hesitate to reach out. And I know we all welcome it. So
Jessica,
yeah,
may I ask a quick question here?
yeah, absolutely.
Do you have a particular, our website for CCS is very broad.
Yeah.
Do you have a specific address, be it web or where someone who wants to make inquiries with regards to any of your programs that I could possibly have so that I can distribute?
Yes, so we do have a email address, just so you know, that's either inspirability@ccs-soaz.org or vocational@ccs.soaz.org. But we don't have a separate website from CCS's. However, we did just create 2 landing pages on our website specific to vocational services, and then another for Inspirability. So if you go to CCS's website and where they have the services, and click on, it's the very last one, vocational services, it'll pop up with its own landing page. And it does have an inquiry form to fill out, and it should get sent to myself and the team you said you saw above.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah. Yeah, thank you.
Jessica, I was wondering, are the individuals with disabilities able to reach out directly to Ability One or Source America? Or would they have to go through our agency or another community provider, or, maybe the Department for Developmental Disabilities?
Yeah, so the best way to come about, because the agencies like us, nonprofit agencies, are the ones that contract, is just to come right to us. So refer anybody who's interested in that work to us specifically. So myself, Lauren, or Debbie would be able to take that request or that referral, or even just talk more about that service with anybody at their team meeting. So that way, if there's an opening that comes up, they'll know about it if they're interested in that work. But yeah, they don't have to reach out to the Ability One or Source America. You can come right to us because we're the ones contracting.
Thank you.
Yeah. Any other questions? None? All right. Well, I just want to thank you guys so much for coming today to this webinar. I really appreciate it. I also just want to mention how much I appreciate the collaboration as Vocational Services has become its own agency. And I really am looking forward to working with everybody in the future and attending all the other webinars, the great webinars coming up this year as well. Again, if you have any questions, just reach out. Don't hesitate to reach out. Again, referrals and info, you can use those 2 email addresses listed. I just want to briefly show you that the next of our schedule, in case you're wondering, the next one is on February 23rd, and it'll be an introduction to our medical respite program. So if you need to mark your calendar or check it out, go ahead and do that now. But again, thank you so much for coming today. I hope you learned a little bit more about our vocational services. Have a wonderful, wonderful day.
Thank you, Jessica.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, Jessica. Very nice.
Thank you, Jessica. This was amazing.
Absolutely.
Thank you.